All right, are you learning PDR in the right order? PDR beginners, you want to make sure that your time is being spent efficiently. Okay, my first 5 years were a huge waste of time, a lot of trial and error, a lot of back and forth, tons of messing up, and zero consistency. It was very frustrating to try to create some consistency. So let's talk a little bit about how you should learn PDR, in which order you should be stacking the skills. Number one, most importantly, is the science of the metal. I say it all the time. People hear me preaching about the science of the metal all the time, probably to the effect of making some people go crazy. But the science of the metal is absolutely paramount. You have to make the science of the metal priority. Our product is the restoration of the metal. A dent is our product. We have to know what a dent actually is before we even consider trying to fix a dent. You have to know what a dent actually is. A dent is a system of zones, a series of tension and compression, okay, or compression and then throughout, compression, tension, and then healthy metal, okay, in a very simplified dent. But a dent is a system of zones, okay? Look up the definition of a dent, and then in there also think about displacement, okay, and that one-time energy event at the same time. There's a one-time energy transfer event that happens upon that impact, okay? So not only is it a subtle low in a straight panel hit by an object caused by pressure, I don't know what Oxford Dictionary calls it, but we're talking about displacement. An object comes along, hits with the panel, okay, no matter what the object is a dent. No matter if it's hail or if it's somebody's head at a bar, it doesn't matter, or a runaway shopping cart. Object comes, hits that panel, displaces metal, but at the same time, more importantly, there's an outward radiating one-time transfer of energy, and you have to be accounting for that energy. So when I look at damage, the first question I ask myself is, where did the energy go? Asking myself where the energy went opens my eyes to the big picture. A dent is always bigger than it looks. The low that usually catches the customer's eye is not the part that I'm looking for first. I'm looking for where did that energy go? If I can account for that energy, then I will be able to freely push the metal that's bothering the customer. So the science of the metal, make it priority. After that, you need to get comfortable with your number one tool, your partner in crime, your light. Your light is the translator telling you what's going on, that the metal is telling you what the metal's trying to tell you. There's a story going on, the metal's trying to tell you what's happening in the metal, and your light is the translator between you and the metal. And you need to get good at moving and working with your light. It's not just light placement, but it's also body placement, and more importantly, body movement. You need to learn how to micro or minor and major cross-check. Not just grabbing your light and shifting it to aggressive angles. You do need to do that through certain milestones of the repair, but more importantly, you need to learn how to move throughout the repair and between every push. There is not enough movement when it comes to cross-checking. So push, up, down, checking, changing perspective, left and right. The left and right is going to keep you from creating cornrows. The up and down is going to help you confirm where your tooltip is and confirm just how much metal is getting lifted. So get good with your light. You can get good with your light. People think that's weird sometimes when I say that. Hey, I'm really good with my light. It's your light. How can you get good with your light? Well, you can. It's your number one tool. You need to build that relationship. Move it. You move. The two of you work together. It's a ballet that's happening, okay? Now, understand the science of the metal, get really good at your light, and then tool knowledge transfer. Understand what the different tools are out there. Your hand tools, brace tools, whale tails, wire tools, shave tools, your kind of utility hand tools, but all of your hand tools, okay? And then you want to get good with your side panel tools. And then your rods, okay? You want to understand what the tools are doing, how the power is delivered with them, how they are all constantly solving one problem. Where's the dent? Where's the access? And what's that journey look like, okay? So there's your tool. There is your equation for your tools. When I select the tool, I don't select the tool just primarily based on name. I like to get coverage. So when I'm buying tools for my cart, I'm thinking coverage. Where's the dent? Where's the access? What's that journey like? And journey look like? I'm trying to recreate that path with my purchases. When I buy a tool, when I'm fixing a dent and I find that I don't have a tool that creates a certain path to get to the damage, that's when I'm buying a tool. But I'm solving that problem. Where's the dent? Where's the access? What's that journey look like? That's your tools. Learning how to deliver power, okay? So leverage, okay? The types of tips, these are all gonna be like paintbrushes to you at some point. Like a good artist should be able to create a thin stroke with a thick brush. You're gonna start getting really good with your tool tips and understanding the type of movement and contact that they make. But you need to understand that the power and, more importantly, the pattern that you're going to be creating with your tool tip is different between a rod that you can reach out and control and a brace tool or a whale tail that you have to twist into, twist out, and back in. So very different. When we're talking about the 5 principles of a proper push technique, pattern is going to be a challenge. The difference between a rod and a brace tool, they can be challenging, but you need to be mindful of those differences. So tool knowledge transfer, know where they go to work for you, solve those paths, the journey, the coverage, the paths from dent to access, okay? Now, science of the metal, your light, tool knowledge transfer. Now we want to start addressing this tool, the way that your hands operate. So pushing, we push metal. We are metal pushers, we push metal first. Eventually your knocking down and your glue pulling are going to start serving as setup skills, meaning, you know, early on as you're learning to push, you're going to over push, but your knocking down could come in and help clean things up. Same thing with knocking down. You're going to knock down too low, but your pushing can come in and help pick that stuff back up. Those two are going to work hand in hand early on. Okay, but eventually you want your knocking down and your glue pulling to become setup skills. Yes, there are times on certain panels on vehicles where glue pulling is your only option. Double panel, your rails, second skins on the front of hoods, sometimes on fenders, sometimes on quarter panels. Okay, sometimes there's a second skin that you can get a tool behind that metal and you are left with only glue pulling. Yes, that does happen. For the most part, though, we want to try to set ourselves up to get a tool behind metal. We push metal first. That's what we do first. So eventually, knocking down and glue pulling will become more setup skills rather than skills that we depend on to constantly get us out of trouble or to get through a repair. How does knocking down become a setup skill? Well, I'm going to use knocking down to break up that stored energy. The science of the metal that I studied from the very beginning tells me that energy comes to a stop at some point. Well, I want to break up that storage battery of energy. I use knocking down and blending to be able to break up, more importantly, not just break up energy, but redistribute that energy as well. Give it somewhere to go. And if you understand breaking up and redistributing, you'll get good with your blending hammer. That's really what blending is doing. It's breaking up. More importantly, it's giving that energy somewhere to go. But at some point, knocking down and blending become a setup skill to help you push, okay? Push metal freely. We want metal to move freely. We're not here to force metal. We are metal guides. We are not metal enforcers. So if you're pushing and metal's not moving, there might be something that's that is holding you back from pushing metal freely. So we want to use knockdown and blending to be able to break up and redistribute energy to allow metal to push more freely. Now, how does glue pulling become a setup skill? Well, look, as you get better with your glue pulling, you can quickly see that yes, sometimes it has a primary role, rails and double panel, but on other panels where you don't have to go to your glue pulling, you can use it as a setup skill. It can be very intimidating to go after a dent sometime that's a little bit larger. So there is nothing wrong with using your glue pulling skills to go in there, place a tab, slightly flex, minimize the damage, and now you have a lot less metal to have to push. So once was a large dent, now much smaller, and that can be a huge confidence booster to not have to go in and push such a large dent. So use your glue pulling to minimize damage, to go in and have a lot less metal to push. Use it as a setup skill, okay? But as we break down pushing, you want to break up, as we roll into pushing, learning pushing, we want to understand the 5 principles of a proper push technique. Precision, okay? Flex and rhythm, pattern, passes, and intensity. If you want to dive deeper into those principles, hit the link down below in the description. Join our online training community, Push More Academy. More importantly, give me a shout. Let's get you onto the calendar and into the shop. Don't waste another year. Look, 2026 is more than halfway done. It's going to be New Year's before you know it. You'll be making a resolution to push dents, and another year will go by. So give me a shout. Let's get you in here for some training. But look, the 5 principles are very intentional. I watched years of my own repairs footage like a good coach does with his athletes, like gameplay on a Monday morning after Friday Night Lights. I watched my repairs and started breaking down, refining, and really making sure that I understand what a good push technique needs to consist of. The non-negotiables, not the Dean is creative idea of how a proper push goes. No, the 5 principles of a proper push technique, okay, the non-negotiables, because consistency is what we're trying to create. So let's create a process that creates consistency. So 5 principles, those are the principles. But as you learn them, you'll see really quick that knocking down, as we roll into learning knocking down, it's the same thing. Okay. If I took a panel with a bunch of lows and flipped it over, I'd have a panel with a bunch of highs. Okay. Same metal, same zones. Okay. It's the same thing. Slight difference, yes. One of the principles in those 5 does change a little bit because we're now dealing with defects on this side of the panel rather than under and low, okay? Not dealing with lows, now we're dealing with highs, so there's one that changes in there, okay? Number 1, precision still. Number 2 is the change. If you want to know what that is, give me a shout. Let's get you into the shop or into our online training community. But we still have to deal with pattern, passes, and intensity. But you want to break down your pushing and your knocking down like a professional athlete, okay? You don't want any guesswork going on. You want to know why when you push, you are going to get the result that you are intending to get. And when it doesn't come out like you quite want it to, same thing with knocking down. When knocking down doesn't turn out like you want it to, you want to be able to trace back, okay, exactly, and put your thumb on right where the problem went wrong. We don't want to be guessing, okay? We're trying to create consistency here. Everybody wants to be fast and push metal fast and get paid fast, but I'm telling you, if you try to be fast, if you start from a place of intensity to move metal, okay, you're never going to be consistent. Will you be right every once in a while? Will you fix a dent every once in a while? Yes, a broken clock is right twice a day. Okay, you know that saying, but look, time and repetition, eventually you're gonna be able to fix a dent, but don't you wanna know exactly why from the very beginning, where you need to be putting your time and energy, okay, and into what, how it's broken down? That time is so precious. So let's stop wasting time, okay? But we got the science of the metal. We got relationship with our light. We got tool knowledge transfer. We got pushing and knocking down. Look at that, I left my pick out. Pushing and knocking down like a good coach does with his athletes. And then, number 5, glue pulling, okay? Glue pulling is not just, let me get a big pop. Let me just get these big pulls and big pops, okay? You are not painted in a box. We got style that we can go through with glue pulling. I got 3 different ways to pull with the mini lifter, 3 different ways to pull with the slide hammer, okay? We want to be in control with how the metal moves all the time. You are an artist. You are an artist, okay? This is not part broken, replace part. This is us finding a way to delicately restore metal and not disrupt this Post-it note thin layer of paint. Okay, this is an art, okay, and you want to be in control with how you move metal at any given moment. And so you need to have multiple styles of pulling, from subtle change all the way up to that drastic kick its butt type big movement, okay? You want to be in control along that way, okay? Now, that is how training goes here at Legacy Dent Company. Science, light, tools, pushing, knocking down, and glue pulling. That is your basic training here at Legacy Dent Company. That's how I believe you should learn PDR, and I'm confident it should be in that order. Stack those skills individually, and then in the second week of training, we combine those skills. So individual skill stacking first week, second week, combine those skills. Now we're actually putting pushing, knocking down, and glue pulling together, but now we start to transition into real world panels and we start working through damage. This starts your journey into problem solving, okay? Solving problems. When X comes up, what do I do and why, okay? We want to have a game plan, and then as we see things develop, learn how to pivot and problem solve. That is an important part. Now, of course, all the while that you're learning to push metal and pull metal and knock metal down, you want to be diving deep into R&I. You want to be comfortable around a vehicle. Because we push metal first, you have to set yourself up to be able to push. So start getting comfortable with taking things apart. Even if you don't have a repair, go out to your car right now and learn how to take it apart. Get on YouTube. YouTube University probably has a video on how to take stuff apart on your car. So take things apart. Get comfortable with taking things apart, okay? So take things apart, set yourself up to be able to push, go in there with intention and learn how to push, okay? And I'm telling you, make science priority and you're going to be fixing dents faster than you realize, faster than historically has been proven here in PDR. In our industry, okay? Historically, technicians will tell you this takes years. I don't think it takes very long to learn PDR. It might take a little time to get good at PDR. That's totally different, but learning PDR should not be that way anymore. It should be clear, easily accessed, okay? And affordable. That's what I believe when you're getting into PDR, okay? Now, if you're interested, again, like I said, in training, give me a shout. Let's get you into the shop. Okay, 1 week, break it up, take a break, come back for your second week, okay? At a minimum, join our online community, okay? Pushmore Academy over on the school platform. It's a killer community. These are like-minded people that also want to be good at PDR. No question is a stupid question. This is our private community with all of these lessons broken down in module and lesson form. It's really fun to be in there, and it's ongoing. I'm building it out ongoing. Right now, I'm working on uploading some glue pulling lessons, okay? So it's not a complete build for you. Let me sign in, and I'm gonna learn how to do PDR. That's not what any online training platform is, not that. No online training is a substitute for in-person training. You must use it like a tool. You need to get in person with somebody over your shoulder and you over theirs, even if it's not me. I'm telling you, you have got to take yourself serious and invest in yourself and get some one-on-one in-person training of some sorts. Even if you find somebody that just gives you 1 day, any kind of in-person training is absolutely important. So you've got to do that. You've got to take yourself serious. Otherwise, this process, this journey of learning PDR is going to take way longer than you deserve, okay? So stop banging your head against the wall. YouTube University is fun, but it's just a tool. Online training is great, okay? It's a step up from freemium, okay? But it's just a tool. You got to get some in-person training. I'd be honored to be a part of your journey, so give me a shout. If you've got any questions, get in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you're subscribed, like this. Give me a shout over on the other socials, Facebook, Instagram. Connect with me over there. Join our Facebook. We have a free Facebook group called the PDR Clubhouse. Join that, but you got to answer the questions or I don't let you in. So, woo! Thank you for all the support, everybody. If you watch this video until the very end, I know you're serious about PDR. I'm telling you, don't waste your precious time trying to figure this thing out on your own. Get some help, either online or in person. Now work hard and go be great.